Good day. My name is Erik Guthrie. I'm Senior Vice President of Zone Laser Tag.
And I'm Victor Miller, Vice President of Operation of Zone Laser Tag.
So my background was actually running a chain of pizza stores in Northwest Ohio. And one day a kid, one of our staff members, asked if I'd done laser tag. I had not. We went over and played at a place called Guthrie, Toledo, and I was hooked on laser tag, and 23 years later, I bought the site.
I started out, oddly enough, at Guthrie as a flyer guy, and ended up running those locations, creating a business based off of Guthrie, and that actually led me to meet Erik through the ILTA and Q Support, which is my company, and 23 years later, I'm working for Zone.
Zone Laser Tag is actually the oldest laser tag manufacturer in a very crowded industry, and so that says something about the product itself. So the company was founded by a gentleman by the name of Pat Holmes and Frank Stace. Strangely enough, they were inspired out of laser tag in New Zealand, but really opened their first location in a suburb of Melbourne. And from there, they've grown that company to now be the world's largest laser tag provider. So I know for a fact that when Pat and Frank were looking at laser tag, they visited a couple manufacturers in New Zealand itself. And then from that, they decided to develop a product that they introduced in Australia. The market in Australia was larger. Both of them were actually Australian by birth. So they went to Australia and had phenomenal success in the early days of laser tag, developing a couple of products that ended up growing into what we now call Zone Laser Tag. Oh, a lot of headaches, a lot of frustration, a lot of false starts, but with that, some great adulations on successes. They really were pioneers. They were, the very first manufacturer that created a long-term viable laser tag experience. So Pat's focus was being the most innovative laser tag manufacturer at that time, and even to this day he strives for that. So those early days there was a lot of trial and error, and they really had a lot of long nights getting things to work, but they created pretty much the most successful game experience recognized by tournament players and businesses throughout the world. So as I mentioned on the timeline, Zone is the oldest laser tag manufacturer, with its origins going all the way back to May of 1987. And it has had a continuous operating company since that date, which is why we can make the claim of being the oldest manufacturer in the world. As far as innovations, there's so many. We were the first to standardize green lasers in product lines. We created clear phasers when the industry was all in black plastic phasers. We created the first lightweight laser tag vest. When the average laser tag vest weighed 5 to 7 pounds, we created a vest that only weighed 1.4 pounds. We were the very first to utilize radio for membership frequencies, for membership interactions. So the list of Zone innovations even continues to this day, where we were the first to create these new outpost bases that we're debuting here at the IAPA trade show. So amazingly, as I mentioned, there's Pat Holmes and Frank Stace. Both was one was really more on the hardware, one was on the software side, and you'll see that I think a lot in laser tag origins. It's a couple of key players, to be honest. Kate Holmes, Pat's wife, and Frank's wife, which I don't know her first name, but they're key players because they were working unpaid, long nights and long days in there. For Zone, another key player would have been Phil Pickersgill. He was one of the early employees of Zone that ultimately went off to develop a company called Laser Quest. So when you look at those guys, there's a number of programmers that have been involved in the laser tag development. For example, a gentleman named Heath Glass was very vital to the origins of Zone laser tag out there. So when you've got 32-year history, and when you have over 850 locations worldwide, the reality is there's a lot of key players even to this day. Money. Motivation and money. Frank and Pat were living in Christchurch, Australia at that time, and they went into a business called Laser Strike. And they looked at the Laser Strike product, they looked at the model, they looked at the business of the people coming in with cash to play laser tag on. We're talking technology from 1986, 1985. So in other words, it really wasn't that good. So when they looked at that model and they said, look, we can do even more with it than what Laser Strike was doing, that is where they developed the very first brand of Zone, which was called Phaser Strike. And it's a brand that we still honor to this day with its third iteration of that brand. So, but very much it was going in and seeing someone play laser tag and seeing people give money to laser tag and talk to a laser tag owner. And that really was their motivation to get this started. Antiquated, literally parts out of Radio Shack.
A lot of people refer to it as a fad. They believed that it wasn't going to last very long. It was only going to last for a few years. They thought a lot of the owners and operators were crazy for investing heavily into something that just wasn't going to last. And 30 years later, it's still kicking. From when I started playing in my early 20s, the change in technology, the change in what we can accomplish with the equipment has just gone leaps and bounds past even what I thought it would be. I remember, we had dot matrix printers and working off of DOS systems, and now we're running on full Linux systems, and everyth's on Wi-Fi. So, as the technology has increased, so has laser tag. So you have the operators, you have the players, you have the founders, and then you have us. Yeah,
seriously, us. So our operators are amazing because they create really cool concepts for us. And some of our operators have created game formats that we've incorporated into our product releases. So they're much smarter than we are in some cases, and so our goal is to listen to those operators and take that feedback for future versions of software releases and hardware releases. The founders often have this is our idea, our vision, and sometimes they're not always open to outside contributions. We have to push things because we're listening to the operators and we're listening to the founders. And we also own and operate our own locations. So we listen to our customers, the actual end users out there, and we listen to what they would like. Then we are here at trade shows, and then we listen to what the buyers want. So we're kind of difficult because we're gathering all of this and trying to massage it into a product line that appeals to all of those different factors and forces.
Without trying to drive the founders completely crazy in the process of making that work for the customer, the operator, us, and then also with the designers and the creators of the systems. Party moms.
Party moms.
They can be the best and the worst part of the job. Since I left operations, one of my greatest joys in running an location was just dealing with the party kids and seeing how excited they are and the adulation, playing the games, and honestly how we're able to make them happy, which then makes the parents happy. But if anything goes wrong,
yeah, and it's not an if. Eventually something does go wrong, right? But yeah, to what Victor says, we sell smiles. And I tell people all the time, if you just go stand somewhere in your facility and just listen, you can get a gauge of how successful that site is. But these kids come out and we're actually making memories. Laser tag is not what it once was from when our dear friend George Carter invented laser tag under the brand name of Photon. Today, laser tag is worldwide and well known. It's referenced in pop culture. Just even 2 nights ago, our product was featured on the episode of our series finale of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So we're always out there in pop culture. Yeah. And so we're always out there in pop culture. And so we sell smiles, we create memories, and people know what laser tag is.
I think our innovation is probably one of the top things that separates us from some of the other manufacturers. Again, we do take a lot of inspiration from our operators, so our operators give us feedback on the things that our systems do, as well as the things that our systems aren't meeting their expectations on. And as we learn those things, we report that back to the designers and the manufacturer and say, hey, this is what our operator is looking for, and we either can make that happen, and in a lot of cases we have. Our new Helios 2 system, just from its inception and introduction to the market last year, we've added at least 10 new features to that system that didn't exist a year ago this week. So and that's based on customer feedback and the things that they need and want in order to operate the venue better. So
but I'd like to add in, so in addition to all that, we are unique in the fact that we're owner-operators. Our distributors around the world actually own and operate their own facilities. I own and operate my facilities. Simon Willits, the president of Zone Laser Tag in the United States, owns and operates his facilities. So we're actually using our product. And there's very few, if any, other laser tag manufacturers that are trying to sell the equipment to the buyer that actually are using that very same equipment to make money. So literally, we were having dinner 2 nights ago, and I had a mom call me at 9 o'clock at night wanting to book a birthday party, and I excused myself from the table, and I helped a mom book a $249 birthday party. That you don't hear from most of the laser tag salespeople out there and laser tag manufacturers. They're making equipment to sell it to make money. We're making laser tag equipment to operate it, to create that experience, and that's why we've managed to last longer than everybody else in this industry. Oh, we raised the bar, no questions. Our competitors wake up and they want to know what we're doing. They look at our marketing, they look at our website, lasertag.com. They look at what we're doing as far as our clients are concerned. They look at our service, and they work to emulate us. We recognize that. We recognize that they're always on our tail, and so we're therefore always pushing the industry forward in technological innovations, in customer service expectations, in just product features. So that is really how we contribute. We do believe in our industry, all boats rise with the tide, but we're definitely going to be the lead ship out into the ocean. The introduction of achievements. I'll just roll right into that. We were the very first company to introduce achievements into the laser tag industry, a feature now often mimicked and copied by some of our other competitors. But we introduced achievements. We introduced 3-team game formats. We introduced the very first blue laser tag pack was at my facility in Indianapolis at Excite. We introduced names on scoreboards when everyone else did team colors and team numbers. So we were very, very innovative in the early days, and we still keep that to this day.
It's easy to understand. From when I was a child to when my son was a child, and growing up, you play laser tag, you come back and play laser tag with the next generation. The next generation comes back and play, and you just enjoy the game. It's exercise, it's excitement, it's fun. There's a wow factor to every single time you go in and play. You can find something new, or you can play a different way. The number of games that we have is amazing. Back when we had 5 game formats back when I first started playing laser tag, and we're up to 55 on our pro system. So you just have there's always a unique experience that can be had every time you play.
So as optimistic as we are, we do recognize that it is a 35-year-old industry, and so there is a maturation that has occurred. We have seen this industry go through cycles before. We've seen the loss of a number of manufacturers in the past. We do expect a few manufacturers to shake out in the next 3 to 5 years as the industry has become more corporate and less of the individual entrepreneur is opening up family entertainment centers with laser tag. We're very obviously optimistic. We keep introducing and developing new products and new features. We're in it for the long haul, but we expect to see there are manufacturers here at the show that will not be here in 5 years. Oh, that hasn't happened yet. Even George knows that laser tag's not over with. So if you look at the pop culture reference that I mentioned earlier, laser tag is popularly referenced. Even in this year, Captain Marvel came out in March, and within 7 minutes of the movie, laser tag is referenced when Nick Fury walks up to Miss Marvel and says, "Why are you dressed for laser tag?" And that's a $1 billion blockbuster movie. So we know laser tag hasn't even hit its prime yet. While the market cycles will go up and down, there's still a massive room for growth, not only in the United States, but in Latin America, South America, India, China is a wide open market. We have good friends that we just visited that are Russian laser tag equipment manufacturers. They're very optimistic about Russia. So if you really look, we have not hit anywhere near market population throughout the world compared to the number of go-kart facilities or the number of bowling facilities, even the number of amusement parks that are out there. Laser tag still has a lot of growth left in it. I got to say thank you very much for you endeavoring on this labor of love that you're doing. This project of oral history that you've achieved and set out to do is and was unthinkable even a few years ago. So the fact that you're doing this and you've got so many of our esteemed colleagues, and while there are competitors, many of them are actually our really good friends. And it's not unusual to be here at our booth and have our competitors come and sit down and chat with us. And we don't think of them as competitors. We're just competing for a client, but we're all friends. But you've managed to come along and gather up a lot of the oral history. So that, I think we, as a company, need to say thank you for that.